Sunday morning in the Tokyo district of Akihabara. It's the place to go for Japanese youths, mostly boys, to check out the latest games and technology and to get away for a while from the pressures of studying. Across town in Harajuku, teenagers, largely girls, are expressing themselves through fashion in ways that their parents probably find quite disturbing. While some things stay the same, the bustle of the Tokyo fish market, the tranquility of a Buddhist temple, the crowds at Shibuya Crossing, much is changing in Japan, and this is as true in the field of science education as it is for other areas of Japanese life. In the UK, we have a view of Japan and science derived from the legacy and legends of Japan's economic miracle in the 60s and 70s, an image of a country of constant innovation where young people are naturally drawn to science and technology. In fact, Japan now has similar issues to the UK when it comes to encouraging students to study science. Sanae Kawanabe teaches science part-time at Koenji Junior High School in Tokyo.
Children are shying away from the sciences in Japan. I do feel this is a trend. More and more children are poor at thinking about things in depth and wondering why something happens the way it does. The children want the answer from the very start without paying attention to the process. And once they get the answer, they are not interested anymore.
Today, Sanae is teaching a chemistry practical to a mixed ability first-year class of 12 to 13-year-olds.
Today's class is about how powdered solid objects dissolve in liquid. Even though you can't see the dissolved material, in this class we are going to find out what actually happens to it in solution. Within the 3 hours a week given to science, typically one is used for experiments, while the other 2 are spent preparing and explaining, and making notes and drawing conclusions after the experiment.
The class enjoy the practical task, and Sanae expects them to work well together and work things out for themselves. But they're not all sure that when they get to high school, they'll be choosing science.
I have 2 favorite subjects, which are Japanese and music. I like music because I feel a sense of accomplishment when I play a song without making any mistakes. I like most aspects of science, but I don't like the calculations.
I don't think I'll be specializing in the sciences. This is because I don't like the sciences very much. I don't like making mistakes during the experiment. And also, we are handling dangerous poisons. That's why I don't like science.
An hour's journey from Koenji across the Tokyo River on land reclaimed from the sea, the futuristic landscape of Odaiban is home to the Miraikan Museum of Emerging Science and Innovation. The brand new museum has a mission to revive enthusiasm and passion for science in Japan. In partnership with the Ministry of Education, the Mirai Kan Centre devises exhibitions and outreach programmes to help school teachers motivate their students to consider a career in science. Dr. Noriyuki Inoue is responsible for building relationships between the museums and schools.
科学技術または理科については、みんながやはり普通の生活を送る上で
It's important that everyone has a basic level of knowledge about technology and science in everyday life. This relates to anything from choosing medication to driving a car.
生徒自身が将来の必要を感じ
Pupils need to see science as something which is essential for their future.
中学高校の、科学に対する
Students are most concerned whether the topic will be something which is covered in their entrance exam, but we are trying to change this attitude so that they study because they are interested and to make the experience more fun.
これにつなげて楽しいものに変えていきたいというのが私たちの活動になります。
At Koenji Junior High School, Japan's falling school rolls mean that Kimio Ogawa is now their only full-time science teacher. His mixed-ability third-year class of 14 and 15-year-olds have been studying the movement of the sun.
学習の割合ですけれども
I try my best to have as many observations and experiments as possible. The percentage is about half. I'd say half is time allotted for experiments and the other half is to gather notes. This is because I think it's very important that in science, you start with experimentation and end with experimentation.
大切なことかなというふうに思っているからです。はい、お願いします。透明半球状の今日の授業なんですけれども、昨日
Yesterday, we conducted an experimental observation of the movement of the sun. Today we'll be organizing those notes. We looked at what sort of rules the sun follows, and based on these rules, we are trying to estimate the time of sunrise and
推
sundown.
定するという学習を行います。中学校の3年間で勉強することは、
What's
先ほど申し
covered
上げた
in the 3 years of junior high school includes a balanced education drawn from 4 subjects: earth science, chemistry, physics, and biology.
4つをバランスよく学習します。日本の勉強の中では
In the
太陽の
Japanese
動きという
curriculum,
の
the
は
movement of the sun falls under the discipline of earth science, which also includes space, weather, and geology.
それから地質ジオロジー。
Very soon, these students will choose their high schools and begin studying hard to get into them. How do they feel about science?
私の好きな科目は数学
My favorite
です。
subject is maths, because once you remember the formula, you can solve anything. This is different from social science or history, which I'm not very good at because there's too much memorizing.
そうやりやすい。理系わかんないけど、
I'm not going to choose the sciences. They're too difficult.
私の頭の中にある
What's inside my head is first of all how to get into the high school and then about my boyfriend.
彼氏のこと。
まあこんなような感じになると思いますけれども、点と点
僕は理科がとても大好きです。
I like science very much. This is because it becomes a lot of fun when I am doing it, and the time just seems to fly
時
by.
間が経つのを忘れるからです。
透明半球の上を
僕の他にも男子は
Like myself, most boys like science, whereas girls don't so much. I think girls probably like the arts better.
文系の方が好きだと思います。
私たちの教える
The basis of our teaching comes from the course of study provided by the Ministry of Education, and I don't think there has been much change to this. Rather, I think the attitude in the teachers has changed, from cramming information into the students to encouraging them to think for themselves.
ということがあると思います。
The Japanese government researched the lack of interest in science in Japan and identified the 3 I's: interest, information and incentive as the key issues to address if Japan is to attract and nurture the creative scientists it needs to maintain its global reputation as an innovator in science and technology.
1つ目がインタレスト。
The first was interest. Even looking at how children interact while playing video games, there wasn't much interest in investigating things or getting to know anything in depth.
2つ目のinformation.
With information, it seemed that there was not much opportunity for scientists to explain things to the general public, and the subject was not taken up very much by the media.
またメディアで取り上げられるようなチャンスも少なかったんです。で、3つ目のインセンティブ。
As for incentive, there was a general consensus that even if you work very hard and enter society as a scientist, the rewards were very
報
few.
われない仕事しかないんじゃないかと。
Responding to this research, the Japanese Ministry of Education encouraged schools to develop links with real scientists in research institutions. One institution that's made itself available for such links to schools is the Tokyo Institute of Technology, one of the most respected science universities in Japan and home to one of Japanese science education's secret weapons. These undergraduate students of chemistry are presenting the results of their research to their peers under the watchful eye of Teijiro Ichimura, Professor of Molecular Spectroscopy at Tokyo Tech.
We are doing the molecular spectroscopy. It's a kind of the physical chemistry, and it's a kind of the interaction between the molecule and the light.
But Professor Ichimura has a double life.
I'm the professor of the molecular spectroscopy at Tokyo Institute of Technology, but I'm also the principal of the Tokyo Tech High School of Science and Technology.
There are 101 super science high schools in Japan, which students enter by competing successfully in a public exam. The Tokyo Tech Super Science High School was formerly a vocational technical high school created to educate technicians who did not go to higher education. Since its designation as a super science high school, it's been able to design its own curriculum, a winning synthesis of practical engagement and academic knowledge. Over 80% of students now go on to 4-year courses at university.
The Ministry of Education started the Super Science High School program on 2002. And at that time, the many normal comprehensive high school are just focusing on the understanding ability. In the case of our high school, we are adding to the understanding ability, practicing and designing abilities. These two abilities are very important for becoming the talented scientist and engineer. We reorganized our educational program at the 2005, and we added the ability to challenge and also ability to convey ideas.
当然質量が重くなるからこっちが M1 ですね。でこっちが M2 だよね。で
Each of the 3 years at Tokyo Tech has over 200 students.
でもう一人ねちょっとストップウォッチ測る人じゃあここまで乗っちゃっていいよ。
In the first grade, there are 5 classes of 40 students. And for practicals, each class divides into 4 groups of 10. Today, Takayuki Imada's first-year group are in the physics lab, looking at gravity and acceleration using 2 different methods as part of their Foundations of Science and Technology course. Also helping with this lesson is teaching assistant Misato Kosuge, who specialises in helping students with practical experiments.
これですね、実験装置ここに組んであります。それでですね、上にさ、この黄色いシールベタベタ貼ってあるの分かりますか？
実験の概要ですけれども、今2つに分かれてるんですけれども、
The experiment is based on the theory of the acceleration of gravity, and there are 2 parts to the lesson. One group is measuring the speed of acceleration directly. This is a bit difficult to measure manually, so a timer and a sensor are used to help.
それで測定を行っています。で、もう一つの、奥の方の、
The other experiment uses a more low-tech method.